declaration also declared that family incomes will be raised. Russia will also try to put an end to the mafia. Secretary of State Gennady Burbulis held a meeting today concerning this question. The government has come to the conclusion that it's only with united forces that they will be able to vanquish the mafia, which these days has no bounds. Therefore, the legal basis must be created as soon as possible. A full revision of concerns, associations, licenses, and other business documents is being undertaken. People who work honestly should support this initiation. We hear that corruption has already reached highest levels. We've already discussed this question, and we will be making revisions in this area. Do you have data on this? Yes, we do. We haven't printed it. We'll keep working. And how regularly will you continue to meet? And for how long? We'll meet every Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Thus, the official war on crime was declared by the government. Today, the visit of the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Kozyrev, to the Republic of Korea was concluded with the signing of a government protocol between the two countries. Today, Kozyrev arrived in Tokyo for negotiations to prepare for the later visit of President Yeltsin to Japan. One of the central questions will be that of the territorial issues which have blocked signing a peace treaty ending World War II by the two countries. During his Asian tour, Kozyrev also discussed the Russian and Chinese national borders and exchanged ratified documents in Peking. However, the Chinese may still raise disputes along this line because, according to reports, high-level officials, including the head chairman of the Communist Party, said the treaty on state borders with the former USSR, which concluded last year, should be reviewed. Advocates of this position say that this treaty only reinforced lopsided relations between the Chinese and the Tsarist Russian with the demarcation of territories. Observers say this is a result of the power struggle among the Chinese leadership, the reformers and the conservatives. Reformers seek the support of the army. Army leaders are now calling for new negotiations with Moscow on the borders. Those politicians hoping for the support of the army have also started to speak out likewise. And if the mood definitely has a place here, and Japanese have agreed that this is the case, we may yet hear interesting news on the Chinese-Russian negotiations on borders. Journalists, of course, are always ready for sensational news, but what we heard from Afghan President Najibullah surprised us all. Today he announced that he will not personally participate in the all-Afghanistan meetings and negotiations which will be held by the UN outside of Afghanistan. During the transitional period, there will be a transitional government. Najibullah agreed that there will be formed a government in Kabul which should hold all authorized powers to maintain the integrity and the national security of Afghanistan and Afghan people as a whole. With the advent of a transitional government, the new government will receive all authority. The announcement by Najibullah is a serious compromise to augment the resolution of the Afghan conflict through political means. If the opposing sides are not opposed to agreement or these conditions, then we can consider the path to accord open. In Stuttgart, there was an official ceremony marking the withdrawal of the American 7th Army Corps from Germany. There were over 72,000 military people which were first deployed in 1951. The majority of these people will return home to the U.S. The U.S. administration has already developed a specific plan to bomb Iraqi factories which are producing weapons if Hussein continues to block UN observation to destroy nuclear weapons and weapons of mass destruction, according to the news agency Associated Press. Argentinian authorities are not excluding the possibility that an Argentinian following terrorist or agency orders voluntarily killed himself and destroyed the Israeli embassy. Currently, there are 20 dead and 160 wounded. The Iranian embassy denied the charge that it was connected with Islamic terrorists. The majority of blacks in South Africa are very happy with the results of the referendum by white voters supporting de Klerk's reforms. However, ANC head Nelson Mandela said that despite the support of white enclave voters, they are a long way away from a truly democratic government. More than 30 people have died as a result of the tragedy in the Brazilian town of Contagem. A portion of the hill above the slums collapsed, destroying 200 shanties. Within a few days, Albania will hold its stepped-up parliamentary elections. Currently, 11 parties are vying for power. Now, we are finally shedding the communist dictatorship, declared the leader of the Democratic Party, Shevashan. He is seen as the most realistic candidate for the presidency in Albania. Today, a regular bus route has opened between Moscow and Hamburg, according to a Swiss firm. This is the most popular route in Europe, and we hope to make it not too exhausting. Seeing as trains and planes are significantly more expensive, this route may succeed. Today at the spaceship Soyuz 14 docked today. The Vitarenko flag and others were well received. The docking was so accurate that no one even noticed, even though the map coordinates suddenly disappeared. After the docking, all in the Space Control Center applauded. Head Solovyov said he had nothing to report, as all had gone so well. Congratulations. Elena Krikalev, Sergei's wife, saw that her husband was in good condition. I'd happily come down to see you. The German parents of Klaus Flagge were pleased. The Russian system is very reliable. I believe that the father of German rocket scientist Werner von Braun would also be satisfied today. There's only one sad thing, and that is there are no direct communications with this space station. This is a big minus. The most important thing is a safe space flight. Flagge will spend the next few weeks there, but the Russian cosmonauts will remain there for the next 6 months. This is all the news by this hour. More news will be given to you later. All the best. MMM, lowest ruble prices, and a guarantee against any defect. Today, it's good to buy MMM products at ruble prices. Good evening. All hopes, it seems, for a fierce finish at the CIS Hockey Championships were met. During the finals, it seemed as if these teams had trained just for this match alone. That was my impression. And in the second match between Moscow Dynamo and Spartak, you can see the results. This fight during the first few seconds of the match shows the character of the entire game. Dynamo showed its abilities. Spartak was ready, despite the threat of a strong counterattack. During the regulation time, there were no missed goals, although there were missed chances for goals, and it was 0-0. However, in overtime, Kaminsky of Dynamo put a goal in, and Dynamo won 0-1. These teams are now tied 1-1 in this series. And in the other semifinalists, the teams Army and Chimia were 2-2 in the last minutes of the overtime period. Soccer is a game that no one can be indifferent to, but despite the problems in our life now, everyone is ready for a soccer game. The Kiev team has already won their championship, and they have many fans beyond the bounds of Ukraine. And today, they went up against Barcelona for the European Championship Cup. And this is a very important competition, and anyone who makes it here shows their business card. However, the Spanish controlled the field.